Hey y'all, it's Leah. I am back with another in our series of making an ideas book where we are making some templates of different junk journal elements that we can refer to in the future as we are making different journals. So today's project is going to be this fun little trifold pocket, and I'll link the reel below where I found this idea and I really liked it. I think it can be done in a lot of different ways. So what it is we've got this little closure, and that is just taped on the back with some double-sided tape that I didn't peel the backing off, but it's super strong and it keeps the string attached to that since I didn't have the double circles to do that. So I liked the look of this. So you've got this little flap that opens up, and of course you could cover up this brad, but I felt like it blends in enough with the brown background, so it was okay. And then you open it up and you've got three little pockets. And so you can just put fun little pieces in there. You can decorate this as much or as little as you want. I didn't do a ton of decorating on this one because the paper is so busy, but you definitely could, especially if you're using a plainer paper. So yeah. One thing you'll want to think about when you are doing your paper is when you are flipping up your flaps. If you have a directional paper, then those are going to be maybe going in the wrong direction. So it's totally up to you. My paper happens to be just this random kind of collage paper, so it just worked that my little flaps happen to be the two that are going horizontal did end up in the correct direction. But some people really freak out about that, others don't care. So it's totally up to you, whatever you choose, because that is the beauty of junk journaling, is that there are no rules. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this project. So really basic, start with an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. You can obviously make this larger or smaller if you want. It's totally up to you. But I think it works better if your horizontal is longer than your vertical, just for aesthetics. So, but definitely play around with that, but you could do it smaller if you wanted. It's up to you. Okay, so rough measurements, you do not have to measure this by any means. It is totally up to you. If I don't have to measure, I'm not gonna. So oh, and you do want to use a double-sided either paper or cardstock. If you're using paper, this part is probably going to be a little more flimsy, so you might want to reinforce that to make your flap, depending on how you're going to close it. If you're just going to use like a string or a piece of lace or a ribbon around the whole thing, then that would totally work. But if you're going to do something like this policy closure or even Velcro or a magnet, you're going to want something a little bit sturdier than just a piece of, copy weight paper. So I went ahead and I did use cardstock. I used double-sided cardstock for this one. So you are just going to fold this roughly in thirds. And I like to do that just by kind of folding that up like this, and then taking my bone folder and making my creases. So again, it does not have to be perfect. If you are a measurer, by all means, go ahead and divide your paper in thirds and figure out how that works. But I'm okay if my pockets are not exactly the same. And I am realizing that I was a little... See all my talk about not measuring, but my folds were a little wonky, so you do want to have straight edges. So don't have to measure, but straight edges are a good thing. Okay, so then we're going to open that back up, and then you're going to fold this bottom part up. This is going to be your pocket. So, roughly this is about, this is 1.5 inches, and that's a good little flap. Okay, so then what you're going to do is, once you get this part folded, you're going to unfold it and then I like to, she just cut them straight, but I like to have kind of that little angled piece when you're making pockets like this. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking my scissors and I'm ever so slightly going at an angle when I cut that, so that it makes that opening. I just think this folds better when you're doing a trifold, or even just a regular, you know, fold in half kind of thing. So again, I start at the bottom a little bit away from the edge, and I just angle it up to that corner. Okay, and I just like the look of that. And like I said, I feel like it gives a better fold because the papers are not creasing on one another anymore. Okay, so we've got our bottom pieces, and then now we need to make our top flap. So again, you're going to fold it down. This is up to you how much. This is going to determine, you know, kind of how big your tall part is, and then how long your flap is going to be. So this, I mean, yeah, I think I'm going to go about 2 inches. My other one I did 1.5 inches, but I think I'm going to go, we'll see what 2 inches looks like. Okay, so then we're going to open that back up, and we need to get rid of these two rectangles, the left and the right rectangle, because we just want our middle flap. Okay, so again, I want my flap to be kind of angled. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. I'm going to cut that angle, and then I'm going to cut away this part. Pull that a little bit, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to cut that little angle. I just like the look of kind of a little bit of, oh, I just realized, yeah, okay, never mind. I was thinking it wasn't cutting the angle, but it really is. Just kidding. Okay. So now we're ready to do some gluing. Get these out of my way. Get our glue. If you are going to ink, this is when you'd want to ink before you start doing any gluing, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to glue those pockets. Or to ink those pockets if you don't have it inked yet. So we're just gluing up our little flaps with little thin bead of glue on each side. Get that third one done. Okay, and that is it. So now we close it up. We've got our little flap, and then we can decide however you want to do your closure. You've got options, and I'll talk about those in just a second when I do our, let me just get this glue capped. There we go. All right, so let's look at our directions, and we'll talk about some options. So we're going to start with an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. That's what I did. Again, you can change it, size it up or down. You do want it to be double-sided paper, probably cardstock. Definitely, if you're using regular paper, reinforce that top flap. You're going to fold it in thirds roughly, and then unfold it. You're going to fold up that bottom about 1.5 inches. You can do more. Then you're going to cut the little notches to make the flaps. Then you could open that back up, fold your top down 1.5 to 2 inches, totally up to you, and then cut out your left and right triangles from the top, leaving that middle flap. And remember, I did mine just at the angle, just to give it a little definition on the sides. And yeah, I would probably go in and fix that up a little bit. Ink it if you choose to do so, and then go ahead and glue your bottom flaps on the sides, glue those up, and then you're going to fold it up and make your closure. So your options, you can do the circles with the string like I did on this one. You could do Velcro, a magnet, you could do a ribbon that just wraps around the whole thing, or you might even have some other option. You could do like a belly band kind of thing. I just thought of that, so we'll add that in as another option So the thing I like about having these notes is that I can always, as I'm playing around, or maybe I see somebody do something, I can always go back in and add some little additions to my notes. And then decorate it as desired. If you have a less busy paper, then you might want to put something on the front or on your pockets. So, all right, now we're going to go ahead and get this into our journal. Need a bigger page for this. We'll go here with this one. I think I can fit both. Yes. Go ahead and glue my directions in first. On there. And also when you're doing this, you can make it a pocket. And so you can glue it just on 3 sides. And that way you can tuck something in at the top. All right, that is our trifold pocket. I hope you try it out. Please let me know if you do. Leave me comments, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.